Wave 1. Enemies inbound. Enemies destroyed. Wave 2. Enemies inbound. Enemies destroyed. Wave 3. Enemies inbound.
Final wave.
Enemies inbound. All enemies neutralized. Congratulations.